What's good, everybody? It's Batman. So it has been a hot minute since we have last reacted to King Bullet. Basically, I was reacting to his content for a good bit, like back then, and then it got to a point where I was like, all right, fuck this guy, whatever, because he was kind of like a dickhead, and he kind of showed his true colors as a person, as a content creator, and everything. At the end of the day, it is what it is. The past is the past. I don't really give a fuck anymore at this point. Will we continue to have reaction videos with him or whatever, blah, blah? Maybe. I don't know. There's many other YouTubers that I can still react and kind of fuck with instead of him. So, but the reason why I'm actually reacting to this video in particular is, from what I've heard, that apparently he formulates a bunch of arguments for NEJI of why he would be over Sasuke. This is a Sasuke versus NEJI video. And once again, this is kind of paints to the whole narrative and notion that no matter what, when it comes to the training exams or when it comes to OG Naruto, it's just contentious all around, where people can advocate for Sasuke, for NEJI, for Naruto, for Lee, you name it. The list goes on and on. So, I'm very curious and intrigued to see what this persists of and what it consists of, the evidence and everything he's going to show, etc. You name it. I'm already way well aware of what NEJI can do, and you name it, etc. And even me, I can be able to get him pretty high in scaling, or even over Sasuke, etc. You know what I mean? And yada yada, and then vice versa. So at the end of the day, it's really interesting, but we're going to see and check this out. We're going to see what he does. And once again, with our previous reaction that we did with the whole tuning exam vibes and everything, when we were reacting to Jay the Great's video, you guys saw that as an example of how people can advocate for Sasuke, blah, blah. This is more of an example of how people can advocate for NEJI over Sasuke. So if it was a ranking video, this would basically show and prove how he would be over. Obviously, he's not doing everybody in the tuning exams. This video is already 15 minutes long, and it's just about Sasuke and NEJI. But, it is what it is. So we're going to check it out, and I'll make sure to put his YouTube in the description down below, or I'll probably just put in the title as well, reacting to him, whatever. So, I don't know, if King Bullet's intrigued to see my reaction and say whatever bullshit he wants, or I don't know, whatever, I don't care. By all means, it don't fucking bother me. But just put him in here. This way you guys are aware who he is. You can check out his content if you like it and vibe with it. By all means, give him the support and love. And as always, let's get into the video.
King Bullet. So I'm like the most knowledgeable Naruto dude on the planet, maybe the universe. Ironically, that might actually be true. So it's illegal to not.
Damn it! Do not show the anime. I hate it when people show anime when they're doing videos, because it's like they don't get hit with no fucking copyright, but me, I get hit with the copyright. It's fucking annoying.
Subscribe to me. This video may be different to the common ones you see all the time on this topic, and boy do I have a topic for you today. A lot of you might think it's really one-sided, but I assure you it's not. The topic of today's video is NEJI versus Sasuke within the Chunin exams. So this matchup is quite interesting because both are in very similar situations. Both of them prestigious
whoever
clans.
Fucking drew that, bro, was just so goated. Oh my god.
And they're both prodigies within those clans, both looking down upon those weaker than them, but later learning valuable lessons from those with growth mindsets. So the versions of the two I'm using are the ones from the Chunin exams, and this is like a hypothetical to see who would win in a fight between them if these two were matched up with each other in their Chunin exams. One of the reasons I think this is a really cool matchup is because this is a fight that a lot of people want to see. Kishimoto, the author himself, found this matchup really interesting, and a lot of people voted for this to actually be a matchup according to the official fan book. So
That is true. And then not only that, it was just stated several times verbatim of like kind of teasing the notion of NEJI versus Sasuke. Like 10-10 the preliminary, she's like, I wonder who would win. Then you have the moment where like NEJI, is over here gauging Sasuke's strength against like the sound people, and he's like, okay, he's a formidable opponent, interesting, whatever, blah, blah. So there's tons and tons of narrative comparisons and narrative notions of like both of them just kind of being teased in a way to like, potentially fight or something, or who would actually win or whatever, So it is interesting. I do agree with that.
let's get into this. Let's start off with Sasuke. Just like his older brother Itachi, Sasuke is recognized as a natural prodigy of the Uchiha clan. He's one of the last surviving members of Konoha's Uchiha clan. After his older brother Itachi slaughtered their entire clan, Sasuke made it his life's goal to avenge them by killing his brother. He was added to Team 7 upon becoming a ninja, and through this completion, he became rivals and best friends with Naruto Uzumaki. Around this time, base Sasuke has the same speed as Rock Lee. This is at the beginning of his fight with Gaara. Base Sasuke gets even faster. According to my guy, he's as fast as weightlifting.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because he says he's fast. It's nearly the same as Lee's ordinary speed, and that's when he's first comparing him. And that's what weighted Lee. And then eventually he's like, oh, and then he says it about weightless speed, and he's like, oh, he's nearly the same as blah, blah, blah. So it's like, once again, you look at the word nearly, that's not really, so.
Lee's average speed. So with his Sharingan, he should actually be faster.
In the manga, it's basically stated in the same exact sense, just slightly worded differently, but it's the same exact literal meaning.
And stronger, since we see even when he gets like a single Tomoe in his Sharingan, he goes from being beat down by Kurama amped Naruto to now being able to avoid his attacks through precognition and is even able to overwhelm him with power.
Exactly.
Now according to the data book, Gaara's strongest opponent physically is Sasuke, and this is in reference to power as shown by the picture displayed by the data book right next to the text. Sasuke was also capable of putting Gaara on his knees, a feat that Rock Lee wasn't capable of replicating, meaning that he fatigued Gaara that much. And when using the Chidori, according to Rock Lee himself, Sasuke when using Chidori should be faster than himself entirely, possibly faster than his reverse lotus, while in the 5th gate, it should be noted it does take Sasuke some time to charge up, and it doesn't scale to his normal speed. Since we know the Chidori is so quick that it's beyond your usual perception, that's why you need the Sharingan, Sasuke is most likely stronger and faster than Rock Lee even in his 5th gate. And using his reverse lotus. The reverse lotus is like an amp to Rock Lee, the same way that Chidori is like an amp to Sasuke.
Okay, so he's saying Sasuke, similar to what Jay was saying with Sasuke, that with Chidori and everything, he'd be faster and stronger than 5th Gate League. Interesting. Okay. So I was actually not expecting that. I was expecting him to actually go otherwise and say, so this is interesting. So if he goes along the notion that Sasuke is over Lee, I'm really intrigued how he's going to connect the dots and explain how Neji would be over Sasuke. Because that's just really weird then. That doesn't really make sense. Because the majority of people that will definitely agree with this, you have some small percentage that will say maybe Neji's over Lee or whatever, blah, blah. But the majority of people, percentage-wise, etc., and with the evidence that we have, will definitely say Lee is over Neji. So this right here is already like a weird, contradicted like type of a thing in a sense. You know what I mean? Because once again, we know Reverse Lotus is what was designed to defeat Neji, and it's stated verbatim. And this data book, stuff with that as well, and you name it, etc., blah, blah. So that's basically where Neji's limited at. So this kind of, this is a little weird, because if you grant Sasuke with the whole Chidori thing to where now he scales over 5th Gate Lee, then I'm not too sure he's going to continue to move forward to get Neji over fucking Sasuke. That's, I don't know about all that. So it's really, really interesting, but we'll get into it. We'll see where he basically approaches it and how he does that. Now, once again, you guys already know the vibes. Sasuke with his Chidori and everything, he's not approaching 5th Gate Lead. That's just an interpretation based argument and whatnot. And, the only evidence that we have, for when it comes to Sasuke is like with actual speed, it's just him being remotely similar to Weightless Lee. And even if we give him a Chidori, it is a speed amp, but the quantification isn't massive, and we are definitely know that. You analyze everything with Kid Kakashi, it's clearly not massive enough where he's speed blitzing, he's going against an opponent that's also a Jonin on the same tier and speed and everything. He does Chidori, and he's still not able to tag, and he would have died, and Minato had to fucking save him. So Chidori's not a massive fucking speed increase of an amp. Like, it does increase your speed, but it's not like insane to a point where it can get you from weightless to fucking 5th Gate level of fucking speed. You know what I mean? That's crazy. The AP is greater than 5th Gate Lee's AP, I will say that. But then again, it's Chidori. It's a lightning-based fucking attack. You're running with your speed, and you use it to stab, momentum and whatnot, and that's all it is. It's a crazy, super fucking strong AP attack. So that's basically what you have. While with Lee, when he's going into the gates and everything, he's over here blowing up a whole fucking stadium, speed blitzing Gaara, fucking hit him a million fucking times, way more than what fucking Sasuke did. As a matter of fact, he did even way more damage to his fucking sand armor compared to Sasuke. It was completely his entire body was completely fucked, and even Gaara admits verbatim, oh, I'm about to, this shit's about to break completely, this is bad. And if Lee had more time, he would have got through that shit and beat his ass and made him bleed as well and knocked him out. But Lee had to resort to the Lotus because he was running out of time, and Gaara was able to pull up an incredible IQ plan and use his Sand Gore as the last remaining amount of sand to use that as sand to cushion the blow, and that's why he survived, and that was also stated verbatim. Meaning if Gaara didn't have his sand to use, he would have lost by that fucking AP and been defeated. And even the first gate with the Lotus was stated verbatim to defeat Gaara as well by Guy and Lee, that his layer of armor sand would not be able to withstand that amount of AP and blow. So overall, Lee's about it. He's no joke. And he has all the objective evidence and all the feats, basically, to basically prove that. And then not only that, if you analyze everything with Sasuke with the Sound 4 when he gets his ass beat, and you analyze Lee, where he's over here fucking going blow for blow with Bone Man and shit, you name, and doing way better than QB fucking Naruto with thousands of clones, and forces him to go CM1 with fucking Gate 1 and with, you know, the Drunken Fist stuff, and even when base, while weaker and less faster, and you name it, he's able to fucking tag Bone Man multiple times, and then basically Bone Man is able to adjust his taijutsu fighting style, and now read his movements more better and accordingly and reacting and starts getting the edge. You know, so overall, like, I'm just being real with you. Like, it's just, you know, when you actually analyze all the feats, you name it, etc., like, that's just clearly not the case at all. And that's some people basically have an interpretation for Sasuke to try to upscale him to that level, you know, and to think that it gets that high when in reality it just doesn't. You know what I mean? If you analyze Chidori thoroughly and whatnot, it's not a massive speed increase. Like, better yet, another prime example, Sasuke does Chidori on base Naruto. Naruto's still able to react and do a Rasengan and cancel it out. And then Sasuke literally admits verbatim that he needs to create an opening, use multiple jutsus, then go CM1, and then he can be able to, you know, to successfully land a Chidori. And mind you, Naruto was still reacting to that time, but he was mentally nerfed and going through a mental crisis because he was understanding that Sasuke was actually trying to kill him as well. And Naruto was still able to react and whatever, blah, blah. And that's in fucking base, remind you. While you have Saikon, while fatigued and nerfed, he's able to fucking catch Naruto's Rasengan. You know what I mean? Meaning he would do the same with fucking Sasuke as well. With his Chidori, he would just catch that shit, you know? So overall, like, it's just, come on. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta be 100%, like, transparent. You know, it is what it is. You guys already know the vibes. I completely respect the Sasuke arguments. It's completely understandable, and you can advocate for either or. But when it comes to, like, you know, objectively and logical observations, and if I really had to choose, I really just don't believe Sasuke's 5th gate level. I don't. You know what I mean? I really don't. I can understand and accept the scaling for it. You know what I mean? And that's not a problem. Or if you were debating for it or arguing for it all day, every day, that's fine. But to sit here, like, concretely and definitively, you know, especially for a scaling video, I don't know about that one. I mean, like, that's, you know. But then again, once again, it is what it is. And I've already said this in the previous video with Jay the Great's reaction video as well, that, you know, that's just what you have. You know what I mean? That's what you got. And it's completely understandable. I even explained it a little bit more better of why the whole Sasuke argument's really not, you know, it is what it is. And you just got to respect it, and that's it, you know? So, and then once again, you know, when it says the whole strongest opponent, blah, blah, that can be interpreted in many ways. That could be due to him having Chidori, you know, because now he has enough AP to get through the sand. Even if, you know, Gaara uses the sand to protect the blow or whatever, and yada, yada. You know, or it could be due to how Gaara even gauges people's power. He does it by, you know, by their eyes, and, you know, whether if they have hatred and they want, you know, power to defeat people and become stronger, yada, yada. That was his whole thing when he was talking with, you know, QB Naruto. He's over here like, oh, like, I see your power is love and to protect others. That won't be enough, blah, blah. You're trash, yada, yada. Show me that power of the QB, the power of, you know, loneliness and blah, blah, and, you know, and all that, yada, yada. Like, Gaara literally gauges power based on people's, you know, life and perspective. You know what I mean? It's not like literally based on stats or some shit or some crazy thing like that. Like, that's not the case at all. You know, that's why he acknowledges Sasuke. That's why he even pulled up to Sasuke when he was training with Kakashi. And he was like, I just want to verify my existence, and I can tell that our eyes are both the same. We both live with hatred and darkness and whatever, blah, blah, and that's what makes you really strong. And that's why I must kill you so I can get stronger. You know what I mean? So that's a fair interpretation as well of why he even values, meaning therefore that's a subjective viewing of why he values Sasuke's strength as the strongest. So meaning that would technically be incorrect, and when you analyze the feats and statements and whatever, then there you go, contradicted, and that would correlate to the proper interpretation. You know, once again, the whole strongest thing, it's very vague. We don't know what Kishimoto means by that at all. He just kind of puts that in there, and that's it. We got to just go off that statement and then figure out what he means by that statement. And the only way you can do that is looking at feats and looking at statements, you know. So overall, it is what it is, but we're going to continue this video going. It's just, once again, that was really interesting because this is not going in the generic direction things normally go, you know, with all the videos we've seen, you name it, etc., and all kinds of arguments and sides that people can do when it comes to the tuning exam. So
I'm gonna talk about Konoha Crush Sasuke. I know technically he isn't Chunin exam Sasuke, but at the same time he kind of is, since Sasuke in Konoha Crush is just him going all out, using his full arsenal, which he didn't in the Chunin exams against Gaara earlier. So during the Konoha Crush arc, Sasuke fights above par with a slightly transformed Gaara. So Gaara has like one arm transformed. Just to keep it really simple, I'm gonna call this version 1 Gaara. Now if I'm being completely honest, version 1 Gaara is too fast and too strong for Sasuke. Sasuke needs a Chidori in order to keep up with him in speed and to even harm him. Tamari states when Sasuke is using the Chidori that both him and Gaara are monsters capable of harming each other. We've already established Chidori Sasuke is faster than Rock Lee at his fastest. However, base Sharingan Sasuke is nowhere near this speed. That's the reason he needs distance between him and version 1 Gaara. If you look carefully, they're like dozens of meters apart. So we can charge up the Chidori, otherwise he's getting outsped by Gaara. He even states when he avoids Gaara that he's actually using precognition and predicting his movements, and if he didn't have a Sharingan, Gaara would have killed him in that instance. You might be able to claim he's making small movements and still...
So basically everything he said so far is true. The whole lead thing, I don't know about all that one, Chief. And then another thing, what I will say, what's interesting about this, I'm just going to be real with you. Naruto and Base, while having a nerf mental crisis, was over here contending with this same Gaara, by the way. In Base. And he uses a couple shadow clones. And he's able to basically, kind of get in and whatnot. And he even fights against V2 Gaara, which arguably would be stronger, right? Like the full baby transformation. And he uses just a couple shadow clones and lands a big hit on him. While Sasuke could not do anything, even with fucking Chidori. You know what I mean? Like, now obviously I'm going to be real with you. If Sasuke was using Chidori on V2 Gaara, I do think he would be able to still react and land a hit on that Gaara as well. But bottom line is, if Naruto can do it, it's not that remotely impressive that Sasuke can do it. You know what I mean? And once again, still proves the whole thing that Chidori isn't a massive speed amp. So just kind of, putting that out there. And then you got a guy like Neji who's over here destroying fucking hundreds of Naruto clones. You know what I mean? With ease. No diff. Effortlessly. You know what I mean? So I'm just being real. So, if Naruto can do it, Neji could definitely be able to fight against this particular Gaara. Sasuke could be able to fight against this particular Gaara. And also even Lee as well. But once again, I do agree with all the other points he did bring up. If Sasuke didn't have his Sharingan, he would have definitely been fucked. But it's the same thing with Naruto. If Naruto didn't have his fucking shadow clones, he would also been fucked, And then Neji, because he has a Bakugan, you name it in speed, blah, blah. That's why he's good, and he would also be fucked if he didn't have Bakugan. So they have their own traits and abilities of what basically allows them to combat against somebody like this Gaara in V1 or V2. But, that's basically all you're working with. So, but I do agree, and I'm glad he brought that up, because if it was just base Sasuke, or his weightless speed, or if it was just, only Chidori without the Sharingan, Sasuke would have died. He would have been fucked, so.
Somewhat reacting to this Gaara. So if anybody wants to calculate it and be like, well, technically he's like 10% of Gaara's speed, sure, but he's still getting outsped here. So that's how strong Sasuke should be. Note one of the other reasons Sasuke could have been relative in power or capable of harming this Gaara is since he had like an elemental...
Another thing in Sasuke's defense though, you can say he's also fatigued and you name it, while Gaara, when he gets like his whole Biju amp and whatnot, he's just getting more stronger. You know what I mean? And his stats are nowhere near, to the extent where Sasuke's at. So like this is technically a fatigue Sasuke at this point. And he can use Chidori and kind of play, so that is impressive in a sense. But just as a defense for the Sasuke people, that is, when it comes to like Tail Beast and like, and Biju power and whatnot, it's similar to Sage Mode in certain aspects to where your stats are getting boosted up and, you're kind of refreshed while, if you don't have Sage Mode or Biju within you, you don't have those perks and benefits. So you kind of, it's harder, takes more of a toll on you.
Advantage, since he uses like lightning style, and obviously Gaara's main method of defense is using his sand, which is like earth style. Now what kind of hacks and skills does he have? Well, we know he's really intelligent, that goes without saying. He has precognition and clairvoyance with his Sharingan, meaning he can slightly see the future, predict what's gonna happen, and react to attacks prior, like he did with Gaara in this fight, ironically, where he like aim dodges his attacks. Now this should wrap up Sasuke. Anyway, moving on. Neji. Neji Hyuga is a shinobi of the Leaf's Hyuga clan, the greatest genius in his clan's history, a prodigy. Neji was a member of the clan's branch house, so no matter how much he trained, he would always be in service to the Hyuga's main house, even being branded and having a curse mark on his forehead reminding him of this, the main branch even capable of forcefully restraining him via this curse mark. His father and Yahashi were both twin brothers, so either could have been leader, but one of them was born slightly earlier than the other, making Yahashi the clan's leader. This fact kind of convinced him that one's fate was predetermined. Now, a lot of people misunderstand the fight between Neji and Naruto. It wasn't necessarily about being destined for greatness, but rather your mentality and how you treat others because of your status. So essentially, Neji treated others how the main branch treated him. Neji kind of became the manifestation of his clan's philosophy. Naruto kind of refused to be limited by this fixed mindset and looking down upon others due to your fortune and luck, really. After fighting Naruto, Neji realized that his fate was his to choose alone. So this was kind of like the reason Neji was kind of randomly knocked out by Naruto, I believe, to kind of show that this luck and intelligence are also elements in a fight, once again kind of contradicting Neji's fatalism. So how strong is Neji? Well, Lee states that Neji is the strongest junior member of his team. By this, he means he would win in a fight, and obviously you need to be able to tag your opponent in order for this to be the case. But Lee may actually have an inferiority complex, which is actually a possibility. However, the sensei backs this up by stating that he sees why Lee regards Neji as his greatest foe, quote unquote. So his statements already seem consistent with the narrative that Neji is stronger than Lee, and no matter how hard Lee trains, he can't surpass Neji with talent, and that's one of the main reasons Lee wants to fight him, to prove that he can beat him with hard work alone. Obviously, if this never happens, Lee loses in the preliminaries versus Gaara, so Naruto has to pick up his burden. Anyway, speaking about the preliminaries, Neji is faced with Hinata, his cousin, and he completely outmatches her, to the point it's not even considered a fair fight, not even using his full strength, and we know he wasn't using his full strength, since Konkoro speculates Neji was holding back a lot of his strength, and if anything, Neji was kind of toying with her. He even almost kills her, and has his sadistic smile once the fight is over. Neji required 4 Jonin to stop him, opposed to Gaara only having 1 Might Guy during his fight with Lee, which is oddly surprising, I think. So we know that Lee fought Gaara, obviously, and during this fight,
it is an interesting comparison. 4 Jonin, Gaara 1.
into his 5th gate to use a reverse lotus, and Neji was actually one of the only people who could perceive him, whereas the other genin couldn't even see him since they are moving at such a high pace. So that's a really interesting perception feat. And yes, Neji was shocked by Lee, but I don't think he was shocked by Lee because he thought he was weaker than Lee, but I think it was rather because he thought Lee was nothing but a talentless bum. But in reality, Lee is actually ridiculously strong, somebody who might actually rival him. Slightly prior to this, Might Guy does say Lee's speed is unsurpassable. However, we know Might Guy is actually a little bit biased and favors Lee, as stated in the data book. So we all know Might Guy, as Rock Lee is going in using his reverse lotus on Gaara, says is that the only way to beat Neji is through a high speed attack like the reverse lotus. So Lee has gone into his 5th gate and is now preparing to use his reverse lotus, his strongest and fastest attack. Now we know that the lotus additionally multiplies one's strength dozens of times over. 1 dozen is at least 12, so by dozens, which is plural, implies it's at least 2, so 2 sets of 12, so at least a 24 times amp. So because Lee is in the 5th gate already when using this reverse lotus, the reverse lotus gives him an additional 24 times greater strength, but number isn't really important. All you need to know is that the reverse lotus at this period of time is way beyond his regular stats, even in the 5th gate. I think everyone can actually agree on that. So what's interesting about this is Lee states that he was saving this 5th gate reverse lotus for Neji. I hate it when people say, oh, he just wanted to show him, or show how much he had trained. Obviously, Lee doesn't want to kill Neji or himself. This isn't just a move he can randomly show off. He literally takes his weights off. He's literally only allowed to take his weights off when there's an emergency, and he needs to sacrifice his body in order to save somebody he loves. So the fact that he has to take his weights off, go 5th gate, and use his greatest move just for Neji means he has to, not that he wants to. Since using the 5th gate is dangerous, his bones begin to crack, his muscles rip apart, and he may possibly kill himself and Neji. Lee even has a lack of control, as his movements
I'm just being honest, with the stuff that he's shown so far, he's already contradicted its scaling for Neji. I'm gonna be real with you. You know what I mean? Like, he literally shown the statements that it's stated verbatim. That's what will be designed to take down Neji. The data books also say that as well. Like, the reverse lotus is what's, designed to surpass Neji, etc., etc. Like, this is just really weird. And the only thing that he interjected and gave, he basically just gave his interpretation and said that, basically, I just don't believe that, whatever, yada yada, because, guy's biased or whatever, or some shit like that. And I'm gonna be completely 100% real with you. Like, sure, there could be some biased tendencies guy can have for Lee, whatnot. Obviously, that's just blatantly, come on, that's obvious. But when it comes to the things that he's stating, like when it comes to, basically when it comes to him saying the lotus could be to overcome Gaara's sand and this and that, there's certain things that are actually 100% legit that he would have no reason to bullshit or have any bias, that's just weird. That doesn't make sense. And either way, you can go all day, every day having your interpretations of things, and that's just going to basically boil down to an equal interpretation basis. And that doesn't get anywhere. And at the end of the day, you have to go with what you have when it comes to the feats and statements. Neji's clearly fucking, like shook from that. Like, he has sweat on his face. He's like, when did Lee, how did he get so strong, basically? Like, no way, blah, blah. Like, come on, like, this is ridiculous, So, at the end of the day, like, with everything he's shown so far, he's kind of made it look worse for himself. And I don't know how he's going to still get Neji over Lee and Sasuke. I don't know how he's going to do it, but let's just keep watching. Maybe it's the Nine Tails Naruto that he'll be referring to or something. I don't know.
Linear, as his face goes red and eyes go white. This means Lee thinks that he needs not just a fifth gate, but his strongest ability or his strongest move, the Reverse Lotus, in order to take down Neji. And the fact that he doesn't want to kill him kind of implies Neji might actually survive this, which he actually can, as I will explain later. And what is required is a fifth gate Reverse Lotus, which
Neji can survive the Lotus, bro. Oh, you're right, bro. Neji has fucking sand to cushion the blow and protect his ass, Like, I don't think you understand, but Neji has to rotate, use rotation to tank blows or strong AP blows and whatnot. If he's over here getting his ass beat in the air over and over, and by continuous high-speed combos, you name it, and then gets hit by a Lotus, Neji can't do it to defend himself. That's the whole point of the fucking technique. It's stated verbatim, etc., etc. What the fuck? Like... Oh man, this Neji wank is some shit. Holy fuck.
Significantly even more faster than just the fifth gate in raw speed, as I proved earlier. This just tells us how extremely fast Neji is, that we have two consistent sources saying that Neji is at least as fast as the fifth gate, if not faster than it, alongside Neji perceiving it on all of these statements prior. After the preliminaries end, Neji gets 1 month to train before he fights Naruto, and according to the data book, he never forgets to train, with a Spartan-like personality. So the fight between Naruto and Neji begins. Neji completely outclasses him, showing Neji has great ability in Tenketsu and combat intelligence, using his palms to hit Naruto's pressure points. This style of fighting is known as a gentle fist. He's considered a Jonin level, so he can emit chakra from not just one body part at a time like normal Jonin, but from his whole body, meaning he's probably beyond Jonin level, which is pretty consistent. So Neji uses the rotation, which is really impressive. It's a jutsu passed down by the main branch of the Hyuga, something Neji wasn't taught, but recreated himself because he's a genius. The rotation is considered an absolute defense that is even
beyond Jonin level, yet the man gets fucking restrained by Jonin. Beyond Jonin level, yet the man had basically a draw, a stalemate against a fucking Spider-Man dude. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that one, Chief. Neji's strong, but he's stated to be tuning level, and actually it's also stated in the data books that he's tuning level, not Jonin. Like, what the fuck? All because he can emit chakra all over his body, but which, once again, he's a Neji, he's a Hyuga, that's why. Okay, it was basically just saying that, like, even most Jonin can only emit a small amount of chakra through the hands, feet, or whatever, blah, blah, while he can do it all over his body, etc., into a large amount of degree. Okay, that doesn't, therefore, now make him, like, Jonin plus level or Jonin, like, what the fuck? That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just insane.
Powerful than Gaara's, according to Tenten, but it's also backed up by the data book saying it's in the same league as Gaara's defense. It seems to even anger Gaara. So because Gaara's stand could still technically cushion him just about from Lee's 5th gate reverse Lotus, this means Neji could potentially survive as well. But apparently this wasn't even the end or a full display of Neji's true power.
Well, the problem is Neji won't be able to use rotation. That's the issue. Like, the only way that argument could go through is if Neji's able to still react and then do his rotation when he gets hit. But Neji won't be able to do that because he's going to be getting his ass beat over and over and then get hit by the Lotus, and that's it. He's fucked. Even Gaara couldn't protect himself. He had to use the gore on his back as sand to cushion the blow. Neji does not have gore or any fucking sand to do that. You know what I mean? And yeah, he can emit chakra or whatever, but bottom line is he's going to get fucked up. And we saw the amount of damage he took from Kyuubi Naruto alone, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Now, to be fair, Neji didn't do like a full rotation on Kyuubi Naruto. It was like kind of more of like he just does chakra right in front and then parries the attack or whatever. It wasn't like a legit full rotation, but either way, once again, it does clearly show limits that, of how much it can basically take. And if Kyuubi Naruto was able to do that much damage to him, whatnot, like, come on. I mean, like, maybe if he did a full rotation, then he would have been fine, and that wouldn't have even done anything, whatever. We don't know. But bottom line is, like, that's just, I don't know. I don't know about that one, Chief, So, it is what it is.
uses the 8 trigrams, 64 palms, a stance that actually shocks Ieyasu. Neji, according to Ieyasu, surpassed his entire clan, and his clan is actually considered the strongest clan within the village. So this would place Neji beyond Ieyasu, and Ieyasu actually defeated a shinobi ruler from the Cloud Village. And apparently shinobi rulers are actually beyond normal Jonin. They even get their own land. They're like a pseudo Kage.
Yo,
so
this man's coming out with some rat scaling, bro. Now he's over that, man. You're on crack. Yo, there's no way this man fucking takes Naruto seriously at this point of scales. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're gonna put Neji over him? Are you serious, bro? Bro, I kid you not. It's anime only. But in the anime, Neji literally gets saved by him. Like, Neji's over here fighting a long-range ninjutsu fighter, ninja. Okay, and Neji's like losing, and then literally he comes and then does like his air palm thing and then beats that guy no diff and saves Neji's life. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. That man's not on the same level as him. He's nowhere near, blah, blah. Like, you need to relax. That's fucking crazy.
Impressive. So anyway, Naruto gets all of his chakra points blocked by Neji. Obviously, Naruto uses chakra from Kurama to unlock his pressure points. Naruto becomes drastically stronger. However, him and Naruto match each other. So they're roughly around the same level. They both throw a kunai at the same time. Neji's rotation matches his attacks. If anything, Neji kind of overwhelms him. So Neji actually might be slightly stronger. Neji, thinking he's won the fight, begins to walk off.
It would equal the entire fucking fight. What are you talking about? You even just showed it and said it. Now you're contradicting yourself. What the fuck?
Ten even states that there's no genin that can defeat Neji.
When Neji does his rotation, he spins around in a circle blocking opponent's opponent. Yep, we already know that. Charge straight on Neji, looks like you're saying, yeah.
Meaning he'd be stronger than all of the other genin, but obviously Tenten's a little bit biased. She literally simps for the guy. So anyway, Naruto's walking away after thinking he's defeated Naruto, but then Naruto catches him completely off guard and with a single uppercut knocks him out, or rather hits him so hard he falls to the ground but is unable to move the rest of his body but is still conscious, which is a little bit weird. This was obviously unfortunate, but Neji did learn a lesson, I suppose. So that should close off Neji's section. So now we can move into the conclusion to who actually wins this fight between Neji and Sasuke. So who has more attack potency? Who's like physically stronger? Well, I'm going to provide even more interesting information that I said I was going to come back to. You know how Sasuke can't even keep up with version 1 Gaara, and he needs Chidori in order to keep up with him and harm him? Well, as that Gaara is rushing to literally kill Sasuke, so Gaara was going all out here, literally base Naruto comes and intercepts him with a kick, sending Gaara flying. Gaara then transforms even further. I call this like version 2 Gaara, where he has like most of his body covered at this point. So base Naruto still does a good job in keeping up with this version 2 Gaara. You could even pick up Gamakichi, cover him completely so he's protected, so technically react, while version 2 Gaara uses Stand Shuriken. Naruto could also tank version 2 Gaara's wind style, even more of his attacks, even more, and was even capable of reacting to this Gaara, flipping all the way around him. Just for reference, Neji was kind of destroying like a base Naruto. Now you might be asking, well, how do we know this is the same Naruto? This is right after the tuning exams. Yeah. Perhaps he got stronger. Number one, the Neji fight wasn't even that long ago. It was literally before the Sasuke versus Gaara match. So I doubt Naruto got stronger.
So I'm actually glad he's bringing up these feats and whatnot, because I was literally just mentioning this before. And I even mentioned that, I believe, in the Jay the Great video as well. That I mentioned that as well. But feats are feats. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so if we take all that's actually objective and logical and makes sense. You know what I mean? And how you can be able to argue Neji over Sasuke, etc. And overall, you know what I mean? And then not only that, once again, Neji would scale. He scales, in my opinion, to Gate 2. Anything above would just not be the case. And then, you know, that's what you basically have. And then if Sasuke doesn't scale to Gate 2, then obviously there you go. He gets fucking beat up and speed blitz and you name it. You know, or he just gets beat up and Neji's just too much form. And then Chidori's not going to work because Neji could just be able to react and deal with it, you know. Arguably, even rotation could potentially even be able to tank it, and that is a contentious factor. We just don't know, though. But overall, like, you know, that's what you just have, you know. So, and not only that, Neji also fought Kyuubi Naruto, and Kyuubi Naruto is obviously stronger than base Naruto. So, you have that as well. So, overall, if you connect all those dots, etc., then yeah, therefore, Neji should be able to defeat Sasuke. You know what I mean? If you just go by off all those feats. I'm just saying, you know, but let's let him keep spitting.
It's not like we saw him training or him participate in any more fights after this. Number 2, versus version 2 Gaara, he could hardly summon Gamakichi, but versus Neji, once he got that Kurama amp, stronger than he was in training, and during that 1 month training, he could literally summon Gamabunta. So versus Neji, he was stronger than Naruto that fought version 2 Gaara. Should scale to Sasuke, if not above him. Gaara actually tells this Naruto to use a power he used against Neji, so he believes that Naruto that fought Neji was even stronger than him. Otherwise, there would be no reason for Gaara to bring this up. So if the version of Naruto Gaara was fighting currently was stronger than Kurama and Naruto, then surely he would want to fight the strongest version of Naruto since he's already matching him. Why would he want to fight a weaker one? He's clearly bloodlusted here, and Gaara knows he can transform further. And obviously version 2 Gaara is stronger than version 1 Gaara, the one that Sasuke was fighting and matching, meaning that Gaara believes Neji is also stronger than Sasuke. This is some really could it actually penetrate the rotation? Well, we don't really know. You can argue it does or it doesn't, but it really doesn't matter. What's really noteworthy to kind of confirm this scaling is that Kakashi, Sasuke's own teacher, hears that Neji is like the strongest genin and even puts this in his official report for Naruto versus Neji. Obviously he knows how strong Sasuke is and he never at any point says that this is actually a lie, even putting this in the report. And you know, reports are meant to be kind of truthful. This report can be found in the official fan book, which is written by the author Kishimoto. So Neji should be more powerful than Sasuke, but is he faster than Sasuke? Neji is absolutely faster than Sasuke, since I've already proved that Neji is faster than base Naruto, and base Naruto is at least as fast as version 2 Gaara. Sasuke was barely contending with version 1 Gaara, even using his Chidori, which doesn't even scale to his normal base speed. So if Sasuke isn't using Chidori, which he doesn't scale to because it's beyond his perception, remember? Well, then his base speed is at least as fast as base weightless Lee, obviously slightly faster with the Sharingan and Curse Mark. We don't exactly know how much faster they make you, but remember we scaled like Neji to Lee's reverse Lotus, which is dozens of times above his base speed. No offense, but the Sharingan does not make you that much faster, and Curse Mark 1 is nowhere near as big of an amp as Curse Mark 2, and even Curse Mark 2 is only like a 10 times amp, so not even a dozen. So Sasuke cannot keep up with Neji. But if I'm being honest, Neji just uses Tenketsu to take him out before Sasuke uses Chidori. He's not going to let him charge up like a Chidori, that's weird. So in conclusion, Neji wins, unless the distance between them is really great, and for some reason, Sasuke just uses Chidori straight off the bat. A lot of people probably didn't expect this outcome, since you're probably used to hearing that Sasuke wins this matchup. So hopefully you learned something. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you learned something new, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more content like this, you should probably subscribe. Anyway, if you disagree or want to debate me on a topic, I will link my Discord down below. Thank you for watching the video, and peace out.
Man, we're showing Orochimaru no different Kakashi. Literally what he just showed right there is what would fucking happen to Sasuke if he did a Chidori on fucking Lee or Neji. On God. On fucking God. But, alright, so here's what I'll say. Okay, here's what I'll fucking say. Like, I'm not gonna like or dislike that, like, some mixed feelings and vibes in that video. So, overall, like, it was really weird. Really, really weird. Like, he goes, talks about both characters, everything, that was all fine, whatever. And basically scales, like, Sasuke over 5th Gate Lee or whatever. But then says Neji scales over that Lee as well. Even though there's plenty of evidence to show that Neji is not on that level and below 3rd Gate Lee, or arguably, bare minimum to be generous, 4th Gate Lee. Okay? And you know, you have all that evidence, stated in the data books, stated in the Phantom data books. Guy says it verbatim, this is the key to even defeat Neji. That's also stated in the data books. Okay, then you have where Neji's, like, clearly in the manga scan and the anime, like, clearly, you know, like, oh, fuck, like, when he gets so strong, like, it's clearly demonstrating that Lee surpassed Neji. You know what I mean? And that's just basically what you have. And then even with, like, the month of time to get stronger or whatever, you know, everybody's training, whatever, cool. Great, everybody is strong, whatever. You can't you don't know the quantifications. We don't know how much stronger they get, and blah, blah, this and that. So that can't be used as an excuse either. And with everything that we see feats-wise and evidence, it's just, you still can't scale Neji over Lee. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this right now. Lee, in my opinion, is over Neji and Sasuke. But regardless of Lee, that's not what this is about. It's just about Sasuke and Neji. Like, that's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean? So, like, I do agree Neji does beat Sasuke. It's just the way he kind of presented and formulated his arguments was just a little bit weird. And the whole him being up to 5th Gate level and all that, that's just, I don't know about all that one. That's just crazy. once again, the quantification for Chidori isn't massive. It's very low to where if you're in a similar ballpark or scaling to your opponent, whatever, we know they're both shooting as well. Neji also has a bracket gun, so he has precognition, perception and whatnot, blah, blah. That can enhance his reaction time, etc., yada, yada, so much to shotting gun. Okay, that doesn't help either way either. We see Kakashi use Chidori. He was about to be killed and try to save him because he's literally using Chidori on somebody that scales to him in speed. And Chidori, you can't even use it without the shotting gun because you're not able to predict your opponent's attacks and counter, remotely. What's it called? Now, to be fair, that Kakashi didn't have a shotting gun. So, you do have that too. When he gets a shotting gun, then he is able to, pull a W when using the short Chidori and it becomes a complete jutsu. But basically what I'm saying is the amplification and speed clearly isn't crazy high. Remember, if Sasuke was getting so fucking fast with Chidori, then why would he even need a fucking shotgun? I mean, he can just go be so fast, bam, hit his ass, Or let's say you give him the shotgun gun and he's moving so fucking fast. It's not because of the speed of why he's able to kill the person. It's just because he can use the shotgun gun, predict the opponent's attacks, move out of the way, and then hit him with the Chidori. That's all he's doing. It's not because he's just, Speed Blitz got to your speed, and that's why. Or now he spots 5th grade lead and all that crazy shit. That's not inherently true at all. You know what I mean? And once again, it's further debunked when you have Naruto that's over here fighting him on the fucking rooftop and shit and beating his ass with shadow clones. And then he also uses Rising On to stalemate his Chidori. Then does it in the final valley. Also stalemates his Chidori Rising On. And Sasuke literally admits inferiority and literally says fuck that jutsu, I need to use multiple jutsus to create an opening and go CM1, and then I can, be able to successfully hit him with a Chidori, And that same base Naruto, while having a mental crisis and nerfed, was still reacting. I mean, so there's just so much evidence you can go on off of that Chidori is clearly not just a massive fucking speed amp to a way to where you just can't do anything about it, or now getting you just fucking 5th gate level lead. That's just insane. Once again, it's just all blatantly contradicted by feats. You even have the Sound 4 comparison. They all shit on Sasuke. Then Kimari comes out. You see the Lee's performance against the Bone Man. Have all that, and that's just with Gate 1 and Drunken Fist and a weaker Lee, less faster, less sharper. So we're gonna really just sit here and be like, oh, Sasuke, fuck. It's just it don't make no fucking sense, bro. It's just stupid. Everything else he said was fine. That was 100% legit. That, no problem with that, with all the feats and everything, you name it. So there you go. You have that, and then that's basically what you have for the most part. You know what I mean? Everything else was completely fine. And that was A+ material. But the whole fucking Neji getting up to 5th gate level and Sasuke surpassing 5th gate level, or or both of them surpassing or whatever, and Lee's just left in the dumps, or basically could be Neji, Sasuke, and then Lee. That's fucking insane. And then also when he said that Neji could fucking tank a Lotus attack, that was fucking crazy too. I was like, what the fuck? How do you tank something that you can't even react to or deal with? You know what I mean? Whatever. Sure, if he could react and then use a rotation right when he gets it, whatever, sure, maybe he can now tank it, by using the chakra or whatever, blah, blah. But that's if he can react, and once again, there's plenty of evidence, verbatim and objective, you name it, that Neji just has not gotten to that level. And even Sasuke has not gotten to that level. I don't know why people like to do these upscales for people like Sasuke and Neji to get them up to a level where Lee's at, where they're just not on that level. It's just that simple. They're really strong and really dangerous because of their hacks abilities and ninjutsu. Lee, he specializes in taijutsu, uses the gates to amplify his power to crazy fucking degrees, and nobody has gotten to that point. Bro, even QB Naruto performed, with thousands of fucking QB clones as well, performed worse than Lee with the first gate and Drunken. And even weightless Lee was able to land multiple blows on Bone Man as well. And even Bone Man says he's stronger than everyone, meaning that would clearly be Shikamaru, Flute Girl, and QB Naruto. So it's just, I'm so sick of the Lee downplays. I'm so sick of the bullshit with Lee, in my opinion. Once again, all of it is contentious. All of it, you can argue, you can extrapolate, whatever, blah, blah. But I feel like when you really look at the objective evidence and logical evidence, that we do have, instead of using some subjective interpretation evidence or some assumption evidence, you name it, and all that other bullshit. Okay, because that's the only thing he would do to try to upscale Sasuke. And that was also some crazy shit he was doing with Neji. He's basically pulling some Sasuke arguments for fucking Neji, you know? Like, it's just that just don't make any sense. So that's why, like, I just don't fully agree with that. I think that's really weird. And once again, like, we can assume all day, every day. We can have interpretations all day, every day. But if you're not able to definitively or concretely prove it, you're not going to get anywhere. Because if you're debating somebody, or if you're better, even if like you're scaling a video, since the fact that we just don't even know, period, you know, and you can only go with the possibility of things, whatever. That just goes to show clearly an error in your fucking argument because you just don't know. You know what I mean? And the possibility can be equal either way when you analyze it overall and, you know, and give whatever. And that's just not going to even help in even a debate because once again, somebody can debate, give their argument. It could be an equal interpretation or possibility or whatever. And you don't get anywhere. Now you're at a fucking impasse, you know? And you can only be able to boil down to feats and actual objective evidence. You know? So all the stuff that he was using and saying with like the whole performance of Base Naruto against Gar, blah blah, and everything with Sasuke against that Gar, and how Neji did, and blah blah, that's perfect. That's actual objective evidence, actual feats, actual things that we can clearly see and know what's going on. You know what I mean? And extrapolate from. You know, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It is what it fucking is. At the end of the day, you know, like I said, it was a weird video. I mean, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say a B minus. You know, a B fucking minus. You know, but that's basically all you have. Like I said, guys, we're probably not going to be reacting to any King Bullet video anytime soon. Just being real with you. I just wanted to kind of bring this in just to kind of change up the vibes and see how people can advocate and argue for people like Neji. He did once again 50-50. He did really good 50% of the other. And the other 50 was just kind of sus. But that's basically what you're working with. And once again, if you want to put that into consideration for scaling, to formulate arguments or to debate or whatever, blah, 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 then there you go. That's what you have. And at the end of the day, I respect all the scaling and arguments for Sasuke, for Neji. I respected all of it all around. I love it, all of it. You know, I have no problems with any of it. It is what it is. If I had to pick, you know what I mean, I would still go with Neji over Sasuke, or I would still go with Lee over Neji and Sasuke, things like that. Et cetera, you know, and that's just, once again, if I had to pick and go based on actual objective logical evidence instead of just interpreting or guessing or possibility game, you know, or subjective, you know, arguments. So that's basically what you're working with, you know, it is what it is. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe for more content, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think. Let me know. What's your order? Is it Sasuke, Neji, Lee? Is it Sasuke, Lee, Neji? Let me know, because once again, it's so debated over and over and over. It's just crazy. It's a never-ending war when it comes to that. So by all means, let me know. You guys let me know. I'm curious. And as always, see you in the next video. Bye now. Peace.